Good morning. My name is Lee Matthew Jackson. We are live, and today I want to talk about making time for family. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the passing of my amazing mother-in-law, Lesley Minney, and around 25 years ago, when she was aged 40, she discovered that she had cancer, and back then it looked very unlikely that she was going to survive. She had 3 young children and honestly thought that she was not going to see them grow up. Over the next 25 years, Lesley battled every single day to make sure that she was there for her family. She spent time with each and every one. She would never make you feel like it was an issue having a conversation with her, and yet she was struggling and suffering so much. If you imagine having a cold and how uncomfortable that might feel, it's a little bit stressful. It's annoying. Sometimes as your cold gets worse, it's really, really frustrating. And poor Lesley would struggle with sinus issues, but also with sometimes debilitating pain on a daily basis. And yet she always had a smile. She always had time for family. She always had time to sit and listen if you had a problem and just say something really ridiculously wise and loving. Lesley is freaking amazing, and we miss her every day. And Lesley and my dad, who passed over 6 years ago, have really been an inspiration behind what we do as a business with regards to focusing on family time, making sure that we put family first rather than putting the business first, making sure that we're spending time with those that we love, because let's face it, life is too short and things can change on a dime. Sadly, 2 years ago, Lesley eventually lost her battle, but despite being told aged 40 she's probably not going to see her children growing up, she saw all of her children get married, and she's met all of her grandchildren. That is phenomenal. She is an amazing woman. And like I said, we miss her all the time. Now, there are some things that we've implemented in our business to help us spend more time with those that we love, because we really believe that it is the most important thing possible. You are not going to be thanked by your children for being a millionaire and not being there. You will, however, be thanked by your children because you were present. My mum and dad had no money most of my childhood. They had enough for us to survive. We didn't suffer, but they didn't have enough money to treat us to all sorts of things. But what they did give me was time, and that's the same for my wife. Again, she didn't grow up in a rich family. Her parents had to work hard, and yet they were rich in time. So a few things that we've implemented include fixed working hours. We start at 8 a.m., we have a lunch that is mandatory, and we finish at 4 o'clock. About 10 years ago, it used to be that I would work all day and potentially work all night and work weekends. There was no real boundary. So having a boundary, having some fixed working hours is essential, because that means you have time for work and you have time for family. And that 4 o'clock for me is very much a target. I can't hit it all the time. Sometimes I do have to go beyond that in an emergency, and that's understood. But that is the exception rather than the norm. So we have our fixed working times. 4 o'clock to me is a target to be complete by. And if I can be complete earlier, all the more better. We can take the afternoon off and we can go out somewhere. Also, I mentioned the time boundaries, workday boundaries as well, which means that bank holidays here in the UK are off limits. We don't work bank holidays, we don't work on weekends, and we don't work over Christmas. We put family first. We put time with those that we love at the top of the list rather than trying to get projects over the line, etc. Another thing that we did was carefully selecting the projects that we work on. We don't want to be overwhelmed by huge projects that have really tight deadlines, because that's going to create a culture of stress. It's going to mean everyone's going to have to jump in on board and work overtime to get things over the line. So if there's any projects like that, we walk away from those. We want projects that will pay well, that are reasonable, and that don't have expectations that are going to put pressure on our team. The other thing we do is a regular financial review. It's really important for me to look at the health of my business, because when I look at the health of my business, when I understand my finances, it means I'm not making extra decisions that I don't need to. If you don't know your business finances, then you probably feel stressed and anxious about your business. And when you feel stressed and anxious about your business, the natural thing to go and do is to work more, to work harder, to try and win more clients. And very often, if you just look at the numbers, you're probably okay. You probably don't need to keep freaking out. So I would encourage you to do a regular financial review. And within that, make sure that you are doing some sort of marketing or sales activity every single day so that you're looking after that future pipeline as well. You're growing a healthy business. You don't have to become a gazillionaire. You just need a healthy business that is doing well and that allows you to spend the time doing the things that you love with the people that you love. And finally, you want a clear mission. Very often, I talk about a mission all the time, but very often when we are growing our business, we see what the world does, and the world says we have to grow, we have to increase, we have to continue to get bigger and better, etc., etc. And yet, if we have a very clearly defined mission, a 1, a 3, and a 5, and even a 10-year mission of things that we want to achieve, which we believe are reasonable and that we believe will still give us that work-life balance that we so desire, then that is what is important. That should be our measurable, not, oh, we've grown 20% this year, we've added more staff this year, we've added more clients this year. All of that's irrelevant. If we are achieving what we want to, for us, it is changing agency owners' lives through content, through education, and we are seeing the fruit of that. That is enough for me. That, for me, is my mission, and I am seeing those results. I've got a healthy business. I'm seeing the results of the mission that I have. That is all I need. I don't need to be working full-time or overtime on growing my business and trying to be the next big thing, because frankly, my beautiful girls, my future son, all of those are so much more important than spending time on business, than being successful. Money, success, all of that is frankly fleeting, and you can never get that time back with your family. Lesley, I love you so much. Thank you so much for modeling to all of us, putting family first. And thank you as well for putting us first, even through all the pain that you struggled with. You are absolutely phenomenal. We miss you and we love you. Thanks, guys, for spending some time with us. Yep, I have nothing else to add. We won't go through the comments today. It's a bit of a sad day for us, so we'll be toasting Lesley and thinking of her. But I hope those will be helpful. Those things that we've implemented: fixed working hours, work day boundaries, some careful project selection, regular financial review, and having that clear mission. Take care, folks. We'll speak to you tomorrow.